I remember Abby was about 2 years old and something happened. I think she was very, very tired and she threw one of those tantrums that feels like it's never going to end. And I remember being so frustrated, so overwhelmed, so stressed. I didn't know what to do. Nothing I said or did, nothing helped her calm down. And I felt so helpless. Like, what the heck am I supposed to do or say? No scripts, no strategies, nothing was helping there. And it's one of those moments where you just lose it. Fast forward 10-15 minutes later, she finally fell asleep. And she fell asleep in my arms. And I remember just looking at her sleeping like nothing happened. And that's when this sentence that I'm going to share with you, this mantra that I tried to repeat to myself, came into my mind and completely changed the way that I react to those tantrums. So today I'm going to share with you what is that sentence, what does that mean for me, and how did that help me. First things first, this is not going to stop or eliminate or prevent the tantrums and power struggles. What this is going to do is put you in the right mindset to go through it and being able to respond in a better way, in a more helpful way for your kids. So this mantra is very easy, very simple, but so powerful. And it's this: when you're in the middle of a tantrum, just close your eyes and remind yourself, this is not going to last forever. This is not going to last forever. This is not going to last forever. Here's the thing: emotions have a cycle. Emotions come in waves. There's usually something that triggers them, and then it rises, and then it goes down, and then disappears. That applies for emotions for us and adults, and also for emotions for kids and everybody else. So know that whenever you're in the middle of a tantrum, your child is already triggered and is probably at the peak of the emotion. But the good news is that just like waves, they get really high, and then they will go down and follow their cycle. So if we allow our kids to go through the cycle of their emotion, knowing that point where you're like super irritated and frustrated is just the peak of the emotion, and knowing that after this the emotion can do anything else but following its cycle, then you know that it has no other option than to slow down and go away. Now, ever since I've started to practice this consistently, I've noticed that these 3 very powerful things start to happen. Number 1, I slowed my responses instead of snapping at my daughter. When you're in the middle of the tantrum, you feel like it's an eternity. Your brain feels so threatened by it, and you probably feel so triggered by it that you feel like you're trapped in a situation that you can't get out. And it's incredible how just by simply telling your brain that this is not going to last forever helps you see things by a more rational perspective instead of an emotional perspective, and helps you realize that the situation is going to end. It's not going to last forever. And because of that, knowing that, oh, this is just going to last for a few minutes, there's no need to snap. There's no need to respond. None of that, because it's going to end anyways. You're just allowing the emotion to follow its cycle, and then you know that it's going to go away. Second, I start feeling more compassion, not only for my daughter, but also for myself. So, of course, our little kids are learning how to regulate themselves, how to cope with big emotions, how to move past through hard situations. And the only way that they are able to learn this is by going through it, is by feeling, is by testing what to do, is by pushing boundaries and having consequences. The only way that our kids are going to learn how to cope with their own emotions is by having those big emotions and going through the cycle of the emotions. So just by knowing that this is going to end, it helps me feel more compassionate about my daughter, knowing that she is just learning and whatever is happening is okay, is normal, is developmentally appropriate, and I'm just going to be there being that anchor that she needs. And it also helps me feel more compassionate about myself, because these are really hard moments for us as parents. What you probably don't realize is that they're going through their own cycle of emotions, but I am going through my own cycle of emotion too. While they're feeling angry or frustrated for whatever, stay at the park for a longer time, I am being frustrated because I need to get home and start cooking and have everything ready. And just as I'm giving my daughter permission to go through her emotions and know that that is not going to last forever, I'm also allowing myself to go through my cycle of emotion, of frustration, knowing that this is probably the peak of my frustration, and then I'm gonna release that emotion and let it go and follow its cycle. And saying, hey, this is not gonna last forever to my daughter, helped me realize that it's okay for me to say that to myself too, knowing that if I feel overwhelmed, hey, this is not gonna last forever. If I feel guilty, hey, this is not gonna last forever. If I'm frustrated, this is not gonna last forever. And I give myself permission then to be able to feel and let my emotions follow its cycle. And finally, it helped me to feel less guilty, because when I was in the middle of the situation and she was frustrated and I was frustrated and I was so reactive and I started yelling or saying things that I was gonna regret, for most of the part, I'm avoiding all of that. And because I am not doing something that in, few minutes I'm going to regret, I definitely feel that mom guilt when you do something wrong definitely has decreased. That doesn't mean that I don't have my moments. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect. That doesn't mean that I never yell or I never get frustrated. No, not at all. I still go through my moments, but definitely I can see a decrease in those intense emotions. And that also comes with, self-care and things like that, but it definitely helps. So if you find yourself struggling with tantrums, power struggle, you don't really know what to do, you don't feel like you have any support, you feel like you're doing this alone or that you're the only one going through what you're going through, I created this amazing 7-day positive discipline plan for busy moms that I am giving away for an amazing price, because I want every mom to be able to get their hands into something that actually works without having to empty their bank and without having to spend countless hours researching and learning and taking huge classes that just gonna take time of you. So I made these with you in mind. If you're busy but you really want to know the basics, really practical strategies to start implementing positive discipline in your house, if you are a beginner, this is an amazing tool for you to have. I'm gonna leave you a 10% discount below on top of that amazing rate, so go get it. I will see you inside. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.